So Mark, you come from finance.
Yeah.
I come from pharma.
Yes, finance meets pharma.
Yeah, isn't it? That's great. And we've spent two and a half days now.
Yes.
Really comparing notes and seeing, the differences and the similarities. So where do you think we stand now with our product?
Well, I'm very excited. I think that the thing that has struck me, and with my background in mathematics, I look at things as more at the structural level. And so even though we're dealing with regimens, I look at them, I see them as things that are akin to a portfolio of investments. And when you're trying to find the best regimens for patients, there's a process that you have to go through which is not that different from the process of picking investments and making sure that you have the right allocation and balancing risks against each other. So it's a bit of a revelation to me that you can, just by moving up the level of abstraction a little bit, you can do something that really seems revolutionary. So what does this have to do with pharmaceutical pricing?
Well, it's all driven by science and the scientific development. I mean, as we are learning more about ourselves and understand that one disease is not one disease but 5 different ones, or in cancer it's hundreds of genetic instabilities, So what the healthcare system has to do is to pick products from different companies, right, and combine them. And it all has to be somehow affordable. Yeah. And we've had a system where you price medicines based on that each company argues for their single product, yeah, what the value is, right? Yeah. But now if you have to combine products from different companies, the value may be higher or lower. And that's where, the system is simply not built for all these permutations, right? Yeah. And that's why I and my friend Nathan, we started looking at the finance sector, and I got to meet you to say we need to be disrupted. We need to be inspired by other parts of society, mm-hmm, because within pharma we tried for 2 years to come up with a solution, looking for formulas. And then at the end of the day, we realized we need something like that to unlock this prisoner's dilemma that you described. Yeah. Sure. So coming from finance, to me it seems as though you have fewer variables. It seems much more complicated dealing with pharma and healthcare. What do you say about that?
Well, clearly the human system is the most complex thing we know about. On the surface you'd say, well, compared to that, finance is very simple, but in fact, when you think about what finance is, it's an assembly of human systems that are interacting that create the financial markets.
Okay, I get it. Okay, you win.
So
it's more complicated.
So, well, it's that the world is a very complicated place, and if you're trying to solve complex problems, you need the right kind of tool. The invention that is now being built out as the CCX. Was this thinking new thoughts about a classic problem in game theory, which is the prisoner's dilemma, and the idea there is that people in the prisoner's dilemma don't know what the other guy's intention is, so they have to kind of either take a leap of faith or betray the other person and just look out for their own interests, and in many cases people do that even though it harms everybody. So the insight was, that in the classical situation, a dilemma is a choice between 2 things. You either say yes or no. Yes, I'll cooperate. No, I won't. What I realized was if you put a computer in the middle, now you have a third factor, and you can have a third choice, which is to say maybe. Maybe I'll cooperate if the other guy's nice to me. If he's cooperating, the other guy says, maybe I'll cooperate. And then the computer is smart enough to turn those 2 maybes into a yes. It's actually there's a famous poem. I think it's by Wallace Stevens, which talks about after the last no. After the last no comes a yes, and on that yes the world depends.
There is a long history of collaborating on standards. On regulation. Actually, most of the guidelines that we follow for drug development are written jointly between the industry and the regulators around the world. Okay. No, so pricing is a sensitive space because you are, on the one hand, you may be a fearful competitor in one moment, but at the same time you share the same problems. Okay. Here the issue is not that you and I have, identified a problem no one was aware of. No, in fact, I mean, everybody we meet from the sector, from the pharma sector, they agree with the analysis. So it's just a question of initiative.